Hello everyone. This Week with Chevette is my new show. We're going to be talking about everything that's going on in the neighborhoods all around Chicago. And my first guest is John Alexander, my friend. He's a photographer and we want to know everything that he's doing in photography and what he's planning to do in the future. Okay, the first question is, what got you into photography? What made you get into photography?
Well, at first, my start came at my church. I was at my church and my pastor needed somebody to do video, so I jumped up and started learning how to do video just to put him on TV at Can TV. I liked it. So I got more involved in doing more shows. The name of the show, The Word Is In You, because it was a Christian show. So I liked that part, The Word Is In You. So I started doing that for him. And then I started doing a couple of other things. Later on down the line, I ran into the Rainbow Push Coalition. And I started doing the HBCU tour, which is the Historic Black University and College tour. Mm-hmm. But something was really missing. What was missing was photography. Okay. So I decided to switch out of the video and go into photography unknowing anything about a camera. I didn't know not one single thing about a camera. And so one day this one person took me to this black media thing, which was you. And I was super impressed with all these black folks that take photos. And I got there, I sat through quite a few meetings, and I met the guy named Dave Wilkins, who was the president. Mm-hmm. And Dave started talking about what you can do and how you do this and how you do that. I'm saying like, wow, can I really do this? So I got a big gig again at Rainbow Push. So I went all the way up north to study with Dave Wilkins at a McDonald's for 9.5 hours. Wow. Without knowing nothing about the camera. I got the gig. I got my first paying gig of about $8,000. Wow. For my first time ever doing photos for an event.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, like $8,000, shoes. I only get $150 for doing video. $8,000.
You see how lucrative it is.
Yeah, and it was very lucrative. It was a lot. But even after that, the purpose of doing that was to learn more about photography. So I started doing so much stuff at Rainbow Push, and that was my lead. That was my my professional lead. Mm-hmm. I took camera work with small cameras in a little place with a point and shoot and still didn't know what I was doing. Then later on down the line, I had to start studying. And that was the hard part. Understanding what ISO was, understanding what white balance was, understanding what aperture f-stop was, and putting my cameras putting my cameras in the right position. I guess I can't think of the words right now because I'm thinking too fast in my head but not out my mouth. Mm-hmm. But when I used to do my photos, I used to have these spots on my camera. So I had to learn how to remove the spots. Now that comes editing.
So who taught you all this?
Me.
Well, you taught yourself.
I taught myself because YouTube was the best classroom in the world for me. Okay. Everything I wanted to know and needed to know was on YouTube. Okay. Everything.
Wow, that's amazing. And give us a little of your background before you did photography.
Oh, I salute to you guys that's out there, that's military people. Army guy. That was one of the first things I did. And then I'm also a professional bass player. I love the bass because it's very, very relaxing, but that was one of the other things I was doing. Doing tours in Europe, doing tours in Africa, doing tours some every way, opening up for Harold Melvin and Blue Notes and Temptation at a young age, playing around the people such as Fred Hammond and all those other folks. And so that was what it looked like to do stuff with on a big scale. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it went wherever I decided I wanted to go. Wow. Yes, wherever I wanted to go, that's where it went.
So who do you have that really stands out for you when you're doing your photography? Like, are there any special people that you like to photograph?
There's no special thing I like to photograph, but I want to give my heart-earned respects to one of my best friends in the world, Wortham Robinson. Yeah. That's the guy who told me, I can't teach you your eye. I can't teach you, just got to keep trying. And those ain't the nice words to use, but those are the words to use, if you know what I mean. And those who might see this know who Mr. Wortham Robinson is. Yeah. And so he was my start to professional sports. Professional sports is what he introduced me to.
Yeah, everybody knows Wortham.
Yeah, that was the best.
He was the best, and we really miss him.
Yeah, we do.
May he rest in peace. But
he's resting. Yeah. Probably got a camera in his hand, saying, "Jesus, stand over here."
So what you're doing now, how rewarding is this for you as far as doing photography?
Well, I can say this. Over the last 10 years, 12, 13, 14, 15, I've been very successful every year, even during COVID. I was still able to make a sizable living until they just shut everything down and then everything stopped. It was one of those, it's kind of a needed because I'm in the press, so I was able to do a lot of photography where as a lot of people couldn't go to work. Photography just stayed up. Even going to ball games and shooting the photos in an empty park, but you hear crowds. They hit a home run, you hear a crowd. They hit a base hit, they hear a crowd. They strike out, you hear a crowd. But you at the game and there's no crowd. So it was hard getting used to the ballparks being empty during the COVID time. But we still had to do the same job that we're doing today.
So did you get the same pay that you would get?
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed?
Nothing changed.
That's wonderful.
Nothing can change. Only thing changed, we was able to get out the ballpark a lot earlier. You know, instead of 40,000 people, there's only 2,000 people. You know, it's staff and us, so it wasn't that hard thing to do.
So, what is your favorite person that you ever photographed?
My favorite person I ever photographed is Barack Obama.
Okay, so do you have any pictures that you would like to show us?
Well, I can show it to you now, but my favorite picture is 2016 in January when the Chicago Cubs had won the World Series. And I went to the White House. Now, prior to that, I was outside predicting the ball game as a reporter.
Really?
Saying that the Cubs was going to win 8-7. And I have it all on video before the game even ended.
Wow.
Because I kept saying, well, the storm is raining, it's 1 and 8. There's 108 years, it's the Cubs' time, so let me see. They're going to win 7-8. And they won 8-7, I mean, something like that. And so we went to the White House. I couldn't go, here's one thing. My friend Steve Green told me to go on the field, there's access, right? You just can't go there because you got a Chicago Police press pass or Cubs press pass. There's access. And he told me, well, you couldn't go because I didn't have the access. And so when I got a chance to go to the White House, I had the access and he didn't.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
So Barack was walking past George Washington's wife painted photo in the room. I said, Barack. And stopped and waved, and he stopped, and I took about 100 photos of him standing in front of the picture, and I ended up doing a couple of art shows with it and everything because my scary part was a lot of people drew pictures of Barack Obama. I actually physically took pictures of Barack Obama, and that's when people started praising. You took photos of the president. We only drew photos of the president. And so later on down the line, we was going somewhere in Illinois, and I wanted to shoot Air Force One. I had never seen the plane of Air Force One.
Wow.
So here come Air Force One landed in it's cold as I don't know what outside. And I got Air Force One with all this snow on the plane and it landing, and I'm like, Air Force One, Air Force One. And then I got a picture of Barack coming out of the car, getting into it with him and Dick Durbin and I can't think of the lady in the wheelchair and the other lady, but they was coming down the stairs. I got them coming down, and then Barack Obama getting inside the Beast. So I seen the Beast on TV, but now I saw it in person. And oh my God. You know,
that was very exciting. It sounds very exciting. The way
it's nervous because it goes a little bit much more further than that because after seeing the motorcade, I got opportunities to be in the motorcade.
Wow. To
travel with the president, going to different places across, the city of Chicago.
Now, how many people can say they've done that?
Not many. It's one of the most exciting things in the world because now Secret Service is watching you, and you ain't got to look at them. So you can imagine being part of Secret Service. They go with you to the bathroom. They go with you to the food stand. So you take advantage of that part. So that's one of the good things. And then. I don't know how many more questions you got for me.
So those are some of the perks. So do you have any other perks that you have as far as being a photographer?
Yeah, being in the locker room with the Bears or the Bulls or the Cubs or the Blackhawks, and I did 3 Stanley Cups. I covered 3 Stanley Cups at the White House. I covered 1 World Series, 2 Pro Bowls, and which is a whole lot of fun to be able to be in. Like everybody saw the All-Star game recently. I had an opportunity to be a photographer in 2020 for the All-Star game that was at the United Center. Now, I wasn't just a photographer. I had an NBA contract.
Wow.
So I had all access to the entire stadium. So it's just one of those things that just happen. You know, I'm with
See,
this.
a lot of times when people see you, they don't realize the access that you have when you're involved in photography. When you go into these different events, they don't realize the perks that you have, because I've been involved in a lot of it.
Right.
It is so exciting and it's so rewarding. So I like to talk to people about what they're doing, because a lot of people don't realize, you know, the perks that we have, you know, when you're in photography.
Yeah, it's a bunch of perks, but you know, Chevette, to be honest with you, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
It's a lot of pre and post preparation to do what we do. Like I do a bear game. Game start at 12. I'm there at 8 o'clock in the morning. The game ends at 3:30. I'm not leaving till 7 o'clock, because we have broadcast stuff. The same thing we're doing here, we do at the stadium. So we have to break down from being a photographer, turn around and be video people now.
Wow.
Then we got to turn around, break the video down, and get it up for the social media, which is really important, because everybody from social media wanted to see what you posted. And so we started going out to Hallis Hall, and we did a show called Bear With Me. And Bear With Me is us interviewing all the top Chicago Bears. Like we interviewed Justin Fields, Jalen Johnson, I think that's his name. I can't think of number 4, Jackson. There you go. All that. So you get a chance to do all these different celebrities and different things. So that becomes fun when you're doing those kind of programs. And the thing about it, you have to know what your poise is. You can't be excited about interviewing. You can't be excited about tough. You can't do no selfies. You got a lot of rules. You can't sell the photos. It's a whole lot of things you can't do. But that's not even the end of it. Because if you're shooting for the Gettys, the APs, and all those other people, and you're working for them, then you got a lot of photos you got to send up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Like, who were you definitely working for as far as your photography?
So, again, another blessing came. The Windy City Bulls was looking for a photographer in 2016.
Okay.
And I called every single day.
Really?
And the young man up there, his name was Quackenbush, called me. John Alexander, you are the photographer for the Windy City Bulls. I threw my head up. I didn't want no money. I just wanted to be their photographer.
You was excited.
But what I did not know, Chevette, oh my God, what I did not know was the other software I had to start getting to do their work.
Oh, wow.
So I had to have something to transfer the files with. I had to have a software to help me separate the photos I'm going to send up, which is called the sent into selects. Wow. You know, so it's a lot of things to go through that. Then I had to have this thing called code replacement, and I had to learn it all in 2 hours.
2 hours?
2 hours.
Wow. 2
hours. And that's my right-handed guy. That's
now,
how much.
Did you teach yourself this?
I taught myself that too as well. You know, what the Bible always says, study to show thyself approved, workman not be ashamed, rightly divide the word of truth. So I took my software and my camera work and everything that I've done, start trying to become the best that I can be. So later on, when I'm sitting in a room full of young people, I can show them everything I've done, and I took the photos, and it's not nobody else's.
That's beautiful. So do you think about teaching young people, teaching a class?
I think they all should learn if they're going to be in media, because I was at a Sox game. A girl, excuse me, you hear no white girl, was taking photos of the crowd. And all she was using was her iPhone. And it's called reaction photos. So when she's out there, somebody hit a base hit, she throws her phone up, take a picture, and sends it. And they use that. $42,000 a year for a 6-month contract.
Wow.
That's it. With an iPhone, not that heavy stuff I use, this.
So young people, you listening, photography is one of these lucrative jobs that you can do if you pay attention. Get some good education from a photographer like John.
Yeah, social media inside of major sports is one of the most important pieces, because the Bears, the Cubs, the Bulls, they are social media driven, and a lot of people don't even know that. Social media become one of the most important things that you can use. And learn your phone, learn your social media, learn your links, get your likes up on your photography. You know, don't be afraid, don't be scared. Just here, $42,000 a year with just an iPhone. $42,000.
See why we love photography? See why we love media?
And I'm 6 figures, so you'll know. I ain't gonna tell you how high, but I'm 6 figures with photography. Go ahead.
Okay, so what do you plan on doing in the next, I would say the next 2 years?
Well, I'm here with you right now. And I didn't know that there was these many great young children, young adults here, not children, young adults here that I can best serve at a certain point to let them know what it's like to do what I do. I'm sorry I didn't have no photos to put on display for you, but it's so many.
You can show us a couple on your phone.
I don't know if he can zoom in that close to get them, so I wouldn't want. What I do is just give them to you later. You can put them up as I'm talking about them.
Okay.
But to sit there with, you know, getting photos of Obama sitting behind the chair, sitting next to Michelle, and they tinkling with their hands, you know, or you see in the bushes tinkling with their hands on the stage, and you see people like John Conyers, and you go to Edmonds Pettus Bridge, and you see the Reverend Jacksons, the Al Sharptons, and everything. Now, that ain't the only thing I covered. I covered Michael Brown's funeral too, and the police took me from the back of the parade, the march, to the front because I was the photographer for it. And so that's another good thing, you know. I've been in situations where Secret Service waited for us to come in. So you get known for doing certain things like that, you know. And more you do it, the more you do it, the more you do it, the more people know you.
That's
and
true.
I started shooting $100 set like it was a $10,000 set. So I started getting the 10,000s because I looked at, if I go in the room and I'm only getting paid $100, but there's 200 people in the room, I just made me some more money. So I take my cards out and I give it to people.
Exactly.
And then I charge them higher than what I did when I went in.
Okay.
And so right now my next couple of gigs is paying like 7 G's and it's only 4 hours.
Wow.
And I'm 66. You know, I would love the young people to do it. And me and contract it to some guys. Y'all think y'all can do that in this school? I don't know. We got to figure that out. Can they really do the video from a long distance and do the photos as well? I think they should have an opportunity. Somebody like me, the Victor Powells, and all of us should reach out and grab these young folks and take them out there and let them work for one of these gigs and put some real money in their hand so they can see this is what you can make for real.
Exactly.
It's no joke. You can make real money. And you can make a lot of money with this.
Okay, this is a great interview, John. We thank you for all of your information. We thank you for being here, and and hopefully we'll have you back again.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to come back again. And what I can say to close, if I need to say a closing remarks to the young people and to anybody that want to get into this, you know, just get into it, study it, learn it, know it. Don't fake it. Know everything about your camera, everything about everything that you're dealing with when it comes to photography. Know what the A stand for, what the S stand for, what the P stand for, what the M stand for, what the ISO stand for, and what do IPTC stations stand for, so you can know how to deal with this stuff on a professional level. Because without knowing what they are, you won't get as far as you need to get, because you're going to always be in competition. When I'm shooting, I'm competing, depending on what, if I'm shooting for a Getty-like situation, then I'm competing with AP. I'm competing with Sun Times. I'm competing with USA Today. And if you look at the newspaper today, you'll see a photo by somebody from AP. But it's coming through Getty. And so, and you can become a Getty contributor to photos. You can become a Getty contributor for news. You can do a whole bunch of other stuff. But I was just telling you, learn your camera. Know it backwards and forwards. Stay at home and practice. One of my friends told me the reason he's so good with a gun, he's an actor. I'm not going to say his name. He's so good with a gun is because he shot 1 million rounds. And that made me stay in the house, in a room like this here, and learn how to shoot the same shot with different settings.
Okay.
And that's difficult, but you have to practice. Practice don't make perfect. I don't know whoever say that ain't telling the truth. Practice only make greater and greater and greater improvements.
Okay. Well, our first guest was very enjoyable. We thank you, John, so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Chevette.
I'm excited about this show. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Whew, I'm so excited we got through our first episode of This Week with Chevette. I am so happy about this show and can't wait to see you guys next Sunday at 6 p.m. And thank you to our wonderful guest, John Alexander. Bye.